Hey guys, I'm the Lady Friend One, and welcome back to another tutorial video. Today I'm showing you how I made the claws for my Carnage cosplays. I'm actually going to use the same techniques to do Gwenom and Anti Gwenom down the line, so let's just jump right on into it. So this is another one where I purchased the template. I purchased it from Etsy. It is a foam claw pattern. It has separate sizes for each finger, so there's a specific one for the little finger, the middle finger, and your thumb. However, the ring and index finger are a shared size. You're going to want 2 pieces from each little claw you could see on the template, except for the index and ring one. You want to make 4 of those. So basically I just traced it all my patterns, made sure to mark all those little lines for when I'm lining these up, gluing. Those are really important, and then cut them out with my teeny tiny box cutter. I also did this like kind of finger by finger just so I could help keep track of which pieces were for which finger, and I actually mark on the inside of each claw with like the first initial of the finger just to help me keep track. You can really figure out with size, but I'm lazy. Or is that lazy if I'm adding? Maybe I'm not that lazy. Okay, never mind. If you need help, so you can see I'm just kind of like marking off of the edge where the lines are going and then adding them into where the piece is. I didn't pre-pattern notch this ahead of time. You can get a pattern notcher to help when you're making your little lines for lining everything up. I think I have one in my kit link down in the description if you want to get one for yourself. They're like $8. A lot of making this is really just a lot of repetition, because you have to make like 2 of everything, just because, like, you know, you need, I mean, unless you're only doing claws on one hand, then you can half what the instructions call for on this template. But if you're like doing both hands and claws, then you have to do 2, and it's very repetitious, especially because basically it's the same thing for each finger, so you're really doing the same thing 10 times. So yeah, a lot of repetition. Started to get a little bored during this, but it was awesome. It's the end result is so great. So now we're taking our contact cement and we are applying it to the edges on both sides, letting it dry, and then we're trying to put this together. I tried doing this without a heat gun at first because I'm like, it's really not that big of a deal. It's only 4mm thick foam. I could do this. Get a heat gun from the get-go. You have to use it for this. It's really hard to get them to stick together. You're going to want to follow those guidelines that you have. You might have pattern notched for them, or if you were me and you were lazy, you didn't, but you always draw them on. They're actually really helpful. And we're just trying to stick them together slowly while we shape with the heat gun to form the actual claw. After I've done this 10 times, I go in and I Dremel all of them to smooth out all of the seams, and it also helps just round the claws out a little bit, which look a lot nicer and less clunky. So you'll probably want to Dremel these when you're done gluing them all together. All 10 of them, 10 times is a pain. After hitting it with the Dremel, I sealed some of the holes that we might have gotten, or where seams might have come apart from the sanding, and then we primed it with black Plastidip. This is a regret, but I had to use up that black Plastidip. I wasn't going to let it go to waste. I'm now officially out of black Plastidip. I will never be using it again. Everything is good in the world. Okay. Not really in the world, but you get the point, at least in the crafting. So we seal it with quick seal and then prime, and then we start painting. I wear them on my fingers while I paint because it helps, and we're doing a million coats of red. This was also really hard to paint because I could only really do one hand at a time, because it's really hard to paint them unless they're like stuck on something, so you almost have to paint them on your fingers unless you have like a mannequin hand. It took twice as long because I could only do one batch of claws at a time. Like, I highly recommend, if you have a hand mannequin sort of thing, use it for this. So that way you don't have to go one batch at a time. That way you could do both at once. After everything is red and dry, you're going to take black puffy paint, of all things. I never knew what black puffy paint was for, but here we are. It's for this. And you're going to just do like veins, like at random. First I did the little tips with a little glob, and then I just did like veins branching off from it. up to the end of the claws. And then once those were dried, I just sealed them with my usual Liquitex satin varnish, and I had beautiful claws. If you do this for like Gwenom, you could just paint them all black. If you do it for Anti Gwenom, you can paint them white and then do the black veins like you did with the Carnage, is basically my plan. So pretty awesome, right? Yeah. Heck yeah. Thanks so much for watching this cosplay crafting tutorial. Sorry if it was a bit of a mess. If you want to see what we made actually with the finished cosplay, make sure to check the links in my description and let me know what your crafting questions are in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see what I'm crafting up next. Bye-bye!